What would happen if 18 editors went head-to-head for a 4K per month editing job? And what if the person hiring them is also the one that's judging their work? Ruben is a creator with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, millions of views, and a viral series where he traveled all 7 continents with no money. For his channel, Ruben is looking for not just any editor, he's looking for the best editor. Each editor chose from a selection of his videos to showcase what they can do. But here's the twist, Ruben isn't looking for flashy effects, he is looking for story, structure, and timing. So Wu will walk away with a 4K per month role and gets to work directly with Ruben and grow his channel. 18 editors, 2 judges, and there's one job. This is the editing challenge. So it's gonna be a bit different than normal. Here I'm with Ruben. Quick intro.
What up? I make YouTube videos.
I'm really excited for it, so let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
First one is Leonard.
Woo! Fuck yeah, bro. Let's go. Let's go.
See, this is why we travel without any money, because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
Wow.
Good effort. Who was that? Leonard.
Leonard.
That's a great effort. First of all, the first thing that came to mind is I really like the music that you started with, Leonard. I think this type of video works really well with the music you use. The emotion that the music gives me is kind of intrigue, and it kind of builds this idea of traveling without money. I really like the visuals that he picked. When we were talking, when we said sleeping in someone's house, you saw us sleeping in someone's house. So those are 2 things I really liked. I do think the ending could have been better. I think maybe the music could have escalated, or it could have just ended with like a match cut of us in different continents and stuff. And I feel like with the footage that you had, you could have done more to kind of build up to a climax. But overall, I do like this one. That's my take on it.
I completely agree.
Okay.
It's a solid edit. I wasn't like blown away, but and I like the title at the end, but I was also, after a while, I wanted to skip the video basically, right? Like that's what goes through my mind. Let's rank it. According to your ranking, I think it's like somewhere between a B, C tier.
Yeah.
Right?
I was thinking B for this one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then we'll move it into the B tier. The next one is Simon.
See, this is why we travel without any money, because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus, you're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel, and you're just generally forced to chat way more to people, and that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome.
Yeah, let's go. Welcome to Antarctica.
Ooh.
I like it. I like it. Do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, why not? What I loved, what he did is the branding. Like I feel like somehow this is like your branding, which I don't know if it is, but I don't know.
It is the branding
color
of like this, the most successful series on the channel for sure. Those letters came back in every episode.
I had less that I was like, oh, I want to skip.
I agree.
Only thing was here maybe. Like this maybe took a bit too long for me.
Yeah,
but I also thought it was a cool concept with the Polaroids.
I think the pacing on this one was a bit higher, which was nice because, like you said, it's a bit easier to watch and it's a bit more stimulating. I think one point of feedback is once the Polaroids came up, after a while, like you said, it became a bit too predictable. So I liked it overall. I do think that he could have used a bit more dialogue. I think that's what I'm also looking for. There were quite a lot of clips where there was some dialogue, like we said goodbye to someone who we made a good connection to, who we befriended.
Cool.
But overall, good effort.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think for me, it watched a way a bit like nicer than Leonard's. Let's put him in A tier.
Okay, let's do it.
We can, like I said, we can switch it around. And the next one is Tazine.
Woo! Look at us! Wow, this is actually insane.
this is why we travel without any money, because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel.
Kali has kindly offered to host us for the night. He's even given us his bed and he's crashing on the couch for the night.
And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna be super honest today because I think that's what you guys learn from the most. Effects like those, a target on his face, to me are completely unnecessary and take my concentration away from the video and the thing the creator is trying to make you feel, which is why I put in the brief, like, I don't care about flashy edits, I don't care about effects. In fact, I think most of the time they distract you from the point the creator is trying to make, and I think in this case that happened as well. But what I did like is that you, for example, you used a moment of dialogue, like we talked about earlier.
Exactly,
he used a moment of dialogue to prove a point, which is what I'm looking for. Like, there's one moment where I say, traveling without money, you sleep with locals, and then he used the clip of us sleeping at a local's house, which I really like. That's what I'm looking for. Another point of feedback is that the music, I felt like it started at a bit of a random moment.
No, I completely agree. I think also, like, for example, like the Polaroids, right? That's an effect that you can do to add to the story or maybe explain something, or like, location or a map or something. Like, this is also what I see in your videos. When you use effects or animations, there needs to be a reason.
I think it's a C, because I do think Leonard was definitely better than this.
Okay.
Simon as well.
Fair.
But overall, good effort though.
The next one is Pierre.
Look at us! I'm feeling alive, baby!
See, this is why we travel without any money, because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus.
My guy. Thank you. Short but sweet. My guy. I'll miss you so much. Really nice to meet you also.
You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel.
Kali has kindly offered to host us for the night.
And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome.
Okay. Very interesting. I really like this one. I feel like you didn't feel the need to cut fast, and I think you prioritized making me feel something over retention and keeping someone watching, and I really appreciate that decision. I really like the first song because I think this was the first one where I really felt the point I'm trying to prove, that traveling without money is so much fun. Making someone feel that point takes time, and you can't cut too fast, because otherwise and I think as a viewer you're much more immersed in it, because now you understand what I'm trying to say. One point of feedback is that the sound design felt a bit off oftentimes. I think he could have done a better job fading in and out different clips, the audio levels. But overall, I really like that he took his time with the edit.
What are you guys saying? A very good one, clean, great feedback.
So I think we move it to A.
Yeah, I'm feeling an A tier too.
Yeah.
The next one is Abdullah.
See, this is why we travel without any money.
Look at us! I'm feeling alive, baby! Wow, this
When you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people.
What's your name? Yasin. Yasin, okay.
And that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
Tomorrow we're exploring Atlanta, of all places. Never. Welcome to Antarctica. Cheers.
Welcome to the end of the world. Woo! Southernmost city on earth, aka Ushuaia.
It's not a dream, this is so true. Feeling the peace all around, seeing things.
This is the end.
See you soon. My guy. I'll miss you so much. Take good care of yourself. Nice to meet you soon. Really nice to meet you all.
So emotional.
I think what I did like is that you identified kind of the emotion that I wanted for this. And I think you tried to pick music that fits that and show the moments that fit that emotion. And I think that emotion you identified it as is like very sentimental and wholesome. I think you can very easily go too far when you pick music and when you edit with a certain emotion. And I think there's a very fine line when you use music to make someone feel something. And if you go too far, I feel like the viewer doesn't believe the emotion that you're trying to sell them. I did like that you used certain moments to make the audience feel the point I'm trying to make. Like there was the clip with Kali, I think, where we slept at someone's house. Good effort, but overall, I didn't love the entire edit.
If the goal is to show, for example, that he's in a different city or in Atlanta, then either or don't do it. Just like in the previous edit that we saw, we didn't see any titles, we didn't see any like animations, and that was also totally fine. If you do want to have animation, then maybe have like a map or something like this. But now with the titles over it, it's really distracting. You like the only thing I'm looking at now is those words.
I agree, and I think it goes back to like storytelling principle that I always come back to, which is show, don't tell. If this is coming across as too harsh, I'm just doing it because I think my honest opinion will make you learn the most. So should we put him in C?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
And the next one is jazz.
See, this is why we travel without any money. When you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one.
Short but sweet. It's not the end.
Look at how gorgeous it is here.
Ooh.
I like it. What I really loved about this one, Jazz, is that there was kind of a climax to the story. My feedback would be that here too, I feel like you kind of overdid some things. For example, like with the color grading and the edits, I feel like that's overdoing it too much.
I agree. Also, in the beginning, I think there's this ray effect over it. You added some effects maybe because you wanted to like put more work in it, but I think it didn't need it. Other than that, getting a feeling across, I felt like really like calm here, which like was the tempo, right? But I really enjoyed watching this.
I think we put it in B. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And the next one is Ranak.
See, this is why we travel without any money, because
Okay. Yes, that's not the end. Not the end, bro. Just the beginning.
Wow, that's actually insane. Atlanta, bro.
Atlanta. That's what's up.
when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are.
Okay.
You're forced to talk to locals.
What's your name?
Yassin.
Yassin, okay. You're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel.
All right.
And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
Right, two things that come to mind. First of all, I feel like the highlights effect you put on this is too much. Like here, and I know as an editor, sometimes you don't really see these things anymore because you're stuck in your room. You've been looking at the same images for like hours upon hours, and I experience this all the time. I did like the music you picked overall, but I do feel like it switches too much.
Same thing. I actually thought that you ended it off better. Like it was getting better and better.
Thank you, Ranak. What do you think for this one?
So I would say it's in C tier.
Okay, I do agree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is Shidar.
See, this is why we travel without any money, because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one.
So take my picture.
We met Wael here.
I'm the one you wanted, you really wanted, but you don't love me like I love you. I don't believe you. I take the keys and I'm gone.
Let's go. Welcome to Antarctica.
From the backseat.
Oh, wow.
My guy. I'll miss you so much.
Interesting. This one was quite different to what we've had so far in terms of vibe,
I
right?
completely agree.
I really like that different people are getting different feelings with this and then trying to translate that feeling into the edit. And I think Shidar did a good job translating whatever he felt with this footage into the edit, which is an energetic, ambitious, fun adventure. I did like the music on this one. What I didn't like is that at a certain point there you don't really know where the story is going and the dialogue stops. With that said, I think we should place it in C.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. This is amazing too. Different and cool vibes.
Yep.
Cool vibes. This is fire. Nice to see different vibes. And the next one is Abishek.
Look at us! I'm feeling alive, baby! Wow, this is actually insane.
See, this is why we travel without any money, because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals.
What's your name?
Yassin.
Yassin, okay. We met Wael here.
My guy.
You're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel.
Ali has kind of offered to
That felt so awkward now, right? Without the music.
his bed and he's crashing on the couch for the night.
And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
All right.
Right. Abishek, my number one advice for you would be to improve your sound design. Both the dialogue and the music, the way it fades in and out is very distracting. And it barely fades in and out, right? So there's a clip with like all the bugs in the background. What I usually do is when it cuts to a clip with a lot of background noise, I fade it in way before you actually see the visual of that, just so people are not all of a sudden startled by all these bugs in the background. I don't know if you did color grading on this, but like the first shot, I think it's way too bright.
Yeah, I completely agree. It takes you out of the video when it goes completely silent. So I feel Abishek C tier.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. And the next one is Adicha.
See, this is why we travel without any money.
Thank you for your love. Thank you for the heart.
What's your name?
Yassin.
Yassin, okay. Yes, let's go.
Thank you for your love. Thank you for the heart.
Fuck yeah.
Girl, please don't ever let me be alone again.
Oh, wow. What's a cushy? Wow. Wow.
I used to play at love. Love became an empty game. I walked away from love. I always had myself to blame. I hid my fragile dreams away. My lonely heart was.
All right, interesting. This one was again quite different, wasn't it? I did like the vibe. I think the song was pretty good. It matched the vibe that I'm trying to get across. I do feel like this part is really random with the tempo. I understand that you're trying to get across a vibe of, you know, us exploring. But I think, yeah, like I would have liked you to use the dialogue and to, I think you went a bit too far from the assignment, which I think you ended up with a nice video. It has a good vibe. The music is nice, but I think you went a bit too far from the assignment and there was barely any dialogue.
Yeah, for me also as a viewer, this part felt a bit awkward. I feel like just because of the silence, like it was silent for a really, really long time.
I think we move Adicha to C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Zakir, nice one. Again, guys, like these submissions are all great. This is also the thing. It's like it's a nice edit. And the next one is Andrea.
Soon. It's not the end.
Not the end, bro. Just the beginning.
Wow. Okay.
See, this is why we travel without any money, because
My God.
I can only watch in silence. The famous actor we once knew is looking paranoid and now spiraling.
when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals. Forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
I think you did a lot of editing tricks, which looks cool, but they didn't contribute to the goal and the thing that I asked you to do. Although I do appreciate your effort into trying to accomplish different things, I don't think you accomplished the main goal, which is to make the audience feel the magic of traveling without money, which was the goal.
Jacques is saying, I love this. For real though, that temple animation was crazy, bro. Did you make that in Blender or something?
It is a crazy animation.
I must be honest. Like, I think, to be honest, you could have even pulled this off if the camera movement was a bit smoother or something. We can all see that you have skills. That's not the thing. Now, Andrea, I'll put you on C. The next one is Sahu.
See, this is why we travel without any money, because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one.
Kali has kindly offered to host us for the night. He's even given us his bed and he's crashing on the couch for the night. It's very unexpected, but tomorrow we're exploring Atlanta of all places. Never expected to go to Atlanta on this trip, but that's the beauty of this trip. You end up in places where you never thought you would be, and you end up meeting people who you never thought you would meet. Yeah. Why did you decide to host us?
It's really hard to say. It's just a feeling that I'm supposed to help you guys.
Thank you very much, man.
Right here.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the end of the world.
See, there the music cut to make a good point. right?
Yeah.
That there it was used well.
What is this?
What's gonna happen now? Oh Lord.
Every story I've ever edited starts with someone chasing a dream. But for the longest time, I was too busy editing other people's dream in hopes to chase mine.
Seek discomfort.
Hi, I am Sahu, a video editor from Bangalore, India. And most probably I've chosen the worst place to shoot this video on the side of a freaking highway.
Best place,
There's so
bro.
much traffic. I don't know how the audio is. I hope it's good.
For the past few years, I've been working with all kind of clients. Corporate companies, podcast studios, and faceless YouTube channels. Half of the time, I'm editing tech explainer videos or product demos.
By the way, I don't know if
The other half,
this is gonna be.
I don't know
so
where
hard.
this is going, but I love it.
It pays the bills for sure. But somewhere between the client feedback and deadlines, I started to miss feeling something. You know, the kind of feeling that makes you pause and say, this is why I do it. Well, time and again it has happened to me. And it's during those times when I come across creators like Ruben and Yes Harry.
The videos reminded me of why I fell in love with storytelling in the first place. Not because of the fancy transitions or plugins, but because of the feeling, the freedom, the connection, the human essence behind each and every frame. That's what I want to do more of. Telling stories with life and soul. I've traveled a bit across the UK, Dubai, Thailand, Vietnam, and recently to Singapore. But somewhere along the way, I stopped documenting my trips as much as I would have loved to. Maybe it was fear, maybe the imposter syndrome, maybe the thought that my stories weren't worth sharing yet. I think that's why this opportunity means so much to me. Because I see a part of myself in the kind of stories Ruben tells. Honest, imperfect, but real. To me, editing isn't just cutting clips together. And that's the kind of work I want to dedicate myself to.
And I guess that's why I'm here. In the middle of the road, filming this video, for a change being in front of the camera. Chasing this, I don't know if you can see this, but it's a Yes Harry jacket. Seeking discomfort.
Ruben, Pim, Tom, thank you for the chance to tell a story. Whether I get this role or not, I'm already grateful for what this process has reminded me of. And I'm still in love with storytelling. And I'm not done yet. I think this is where this video ends. And maybe this is where my story begins. Cheers.
Wow.
Wow, man. I've got goosebumps. Like, I didn't notice, man. I just
didn't
saw
know
the
it
length
either.
of the video.
Wow. I love that you put so much effort into this, and you can clearly tell that you watch creators like Yes Theory and me and other creators, and that you really feel something, and that you're attempting to create something similar that evokes that same feeling. And I think in different parts of this video, you've really managed to do that. I feel like there are some moments where I'm not sure where you're going with the storytelling or why you made certain creative decisions. So like the emotion is there, but I feel like the story is not cohesive.
I felt you had like a really strong start. My energy went down here and it started out really, really high here.
Yeah. So I think the conclusion for me is I love the work you put into this, and I can really feel the passion you have for this. But I think you do also have things to learn still, like story structure. Keep practicing, bro, because you have so much potential and you have so much passion for this. But I think there are definitely parts to improve.
He's saying I don't usually film myself first attempt at it. Well, that's
Oh,
that's
wow.
wild. My
I
first
did- I
attempt.
couldn't tell. I couldn't
no,
tell,
No,
honestly.
me neither. Okay, Sahu.
Sahu.
Yeah, where do we put him?
I think B would be good.
The next one is Jucks.
If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple. This is why we travel without any money, because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals. You're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. You're just generally forced to chat way more to people, and that unlocks experiences like this one.
Wow.
That's beautiful. Love it, Jack.
There's skill behind this, of course. And some parts I was like, okay, it is taking away from the video a bit. But I do think it's a nice way to integrate it. Whereas, for example, if you, instead of putting temple as a title, what we've seen before, is like having something like this, I think, and also with the small illustrations that fits the vibe. Whereas maybe I would have then later on, where I think you use it also to switch to Atlanta or something, maybe then you could have also kept it out.
The animations make more sense here, but I feel like they're still unnecessary a lot of the time, and that's also just my personal opinion about editing. But with that said, I did like the music you used, and I did like the story builds up, right? It's not just one audio level and one continuous track, but it kind of builds up to a climax. But good,
cool
good
tempo,
effort
though.
overall. I like the general story of this, and I'd like that.
Thank you super much for the feedback. I appreciate it very much.
Appreciate you too, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think we put him in B, because I feel like he could have used the dialogue better to tell a story.
I agree. Cool. And the next one is Magdescu.
See, this is why we travel without any money. When you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals.
We met Wael here.
Forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel.
Why did you decide to host us?
So it's not like a decision that I had to make. It's just a feeling that I had to, hey, okay, I should help you guys.
And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one.
I'm feeling alive, baby!
If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
I really like this one. I do feel, and I'm gonna say it a lot today, but to me the animations aren't really necessary. And I think as an editor it's easy to learn 1,000 tricks, but I think the most important trick you can learn is to just understand footage and emotions and to use music and dialogue to tell a story. And I think you've done a decent effort at that, but I think the animations added nothing to that. But I like the music. I liked a lot that every time I'm trying to prove a point with a sentence I say, you show that with the footage.
Yeah, I like the clips that you picked. I think that was
for sure.
great. But I also agree that some parts, especially when you use the motion animations where you move to the shots, I think it's unnecessary. Like it takes you out of the video.
Exactly. So great choice on what to keep and what to cut. So overall, I do like this one. I think B for Magdescu.
The next one is Vibaf.
See, this is why we travel without any money, because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals.
Now you guys here though, you know, everything happened for a reason. Yeah, right? And now you guys have a home, you can always come back here. You know?
Exactly. Forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. What's your name?
Yasin.
Yasin, okay.
Amazing, bro.
My guy.
Thank you.
Always support.
And that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
Love it. Love it. I think this is one of the better ones because Vibaf didn't try to do anything unnecessary and anything fancy, and he did exactly what I asked him to, which is to get across the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, that's great. There's some minor points of feedback. So for example, here, when I say you're forced to chat way more to people, this feels a bit random, all of this. It's a bit too cut too hard, I feel. And another point of feedback here, you could have feel like here, there's kind of a moment where it's silent. But overall, I felt like you did a great job just executing what the assignment was.
I completely agree. Yeah, it was just a really solid edit. I think that with the music, it was sometimes you could have put those volumes up a bit more, right? Like I think you kept it just like low all the time. First of all, which city are you from, Ruben?
I'm from The Hague in the Netherlands. So if you're also there, let's grab a beer. I really like the vibe at the beginning. I do too. I like the way it picks up. First editing challenge, you did a great job.
Yeah, that's
great
crazy.
Job. Great, man. Nice edit. So I think we put this one in A.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's S tier because there is still feedback I have for it, but overall, great edit.
The next one is Kayen.
See, this is why we travel without any money. What's your name?
Yassin.
Yassin, okay. When you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one. Oh, wow. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it.
All right, Kayen. Thank you for that submission. I'll be honest, there were a lot of moments where I kind of lost my attention for this, especially like this. There was a long section at the start where the dialogue starts, and I was like, this is why we travel without money. And then it's a very long bit with just music and visuals.
I think it's almost like 20 seconds or something.
Yeah, and I think a great story is like from the first moment, you kind of have an idea of where this is going, and you want to keep watching because there's a question you have. So yeah, my feedback would be there's too many moments where it's just music with visuals and you don't have a reason to keep watching.
Yeah, same. I also felt like clicking away or clicking away but skipping. Again, it was like the technicalities are great, like I also felt the story was a bit lacking.
So I think we put Kayen in C.
Yeah. Next one is Loki.
See, this is why we travel without any money. Because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
Right. Again, like a solid edit. I wasn't like blown away. And what I noticed what other editors also did is that they used some other dialogue, some other footage. It cut to some, not just you talking, and this was just you talking with B-roll over it. The B-roll was good. The editing was also good.
No, I fully agree. Fully agree with what you said. Sometimes it really does cut to dialogue at a very random moment. And it's so important to cut to dialogue at a good moment, because like you said here, it just cuts straight to when I say cuz, and then I pause, and then I start talking again, and it throws you off as a viewer because you're like, wait, what? Where are we in the story? Try to really focus on not cutting to dialogue too quickly. Overall, decent effort. I would say B.
The next one is Lucas.
See, this is why we travel without any money, because when you travel without money, you're forced to immerse yourself into a place much more than you usually are. You're forced to talk to locals, you're forced to hitchhike with local people rather than taking a bus. You're forced to sleep in people's homes rather than in a hotel. And you're just generally forced to chat way more to people. And that unlocks experiences like this one. If we wouldn't have met this man, he wouldn't have taken us to this amazing temple, which is awesome. Look at how gorgeous it is here.
Welcome to Antarctica.
All right. I feel like there were some things that were unnecessary, like the text. I think you're inspired by Maximize.
It's really short form style, right?
Personally, I'm not a big fan of the text because I feel like, again, it doesn't add much. It just makes you look at the text rather than looking at the thing you're supposed to look at, which in this clip is the pyramids. And the other clip, it's our emotion on our faces. You know what I mean? But I do like the climax. Overall, the music is pretty good. And overall, I know I've said it 1,000 times, but I think for everyone who has applied today, it's really important to learn just about emotion and storytelling and music, and to really try to master that, because that is 95 or 99% of what a good story is.
I completely agree. I think it's the base of editing anyway. And it shows, right? At the current ranking already, the ones in A tier are not the most crazy edits.
Like Pierre starts with 10 seconds of just music and shots, and he's in the A tier. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm feeling a B or C. I think the storytelling wasn't bad, I would say.
I think B is good because it had a climax. The music was decent. It's a difficult choice.
Now it's going to be more difficult.
Really difficult choice. Overall, Pierre did the best job at executing what I wanted, which was to deliver a feeling. He didn't feel obliged to cut fast. He didn't feel obliged to make fancy animations that don't serve the story, but he chose to really focus on making the audience feel something. And from the moment it starts, you kind of get this feeling like, wow, these shots are beautiful and the music is beautiful. And like, what is this? And then it cuts and then it builds up again. And I think Pierre does the best job at making the audience feel something. So I think Pierre is is a good winner.
Would you then also put Simon on A and Vibaf on B?
No, because I really do feel like they're equally good.
And then Sahu on B. You do agree with that?
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Thank you, Ruben. For I want to thank you. I want to thank all the editors, of course. Thank you for watching. Like always, don't forget to subscribe. If you subscribe.
Do it.
If you also want to participate in the editing challenge, do join the Fullstack Editor Club. Link is in the description, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Peace.